This video contains spoilers for the Jujutsu Kaisen manga, so if you haven't finished it yet and you care about spoilers, be warned. My goals for these 100 days were to defeat all the curses and curse users, and finally to defeat Sukuna himself, so I have my work cut out for me. Subscribe if you enjoy. I'm trying to get to 100k by the end of the year, and all help is very much appreciated. This video is sponsored by Pixelmon To Go. This is an amazing community-driven project that brings you into the world of Pokemon. They've added loads of cool features such as VoiceChat, dancing emotes, and costumes. They also run daily events such as big boss fights and entertainment shows where people sing or perform acts. This is what the textures and costumes look like in-game, and it's all in this amazing launcher. And you can log into it with Mojang or Microsoft. All you have to do is press play to start your adventure. Visit the link in the description to download it for free. Now back to the video. On day 1, I got this book when I spawned in. It lets you pick which character's powers you want to use, and I just had to pick the main characters, right? Although I do use other ones later on, but no spoilers, you'll see how later. I also got some armor. It was about the same as iron, which isn't the best, but still nice for a head start. After that, I tested out my moves on some unsuspecting farm animals and was getting a bunch of food in the process too. So it wasn't just because of my morbid curiosity. Later, I finally decided to get some wood. Felt weird to already have a bunch of other stuff before doing so, but after I did, I of course made some tools, got some more wood, and got some more food. I then went into the caves and got myself the remaining iron I needed for the rest of my armor, plus a shield, which I found out later was useless, but hey. Later, while I was killing my first cursed spirits, this girl ran up to me. I have no clue who she is. Maybe she was in the manga, maybe she was in the anime, but I forgot about her, but I was still very cautious fighting her, just in case she had any insane abilities. But in the end, she was pretty easy to kill, which I was glad about. After that, I killed some more normal spirits until I ran into this one, the dude from the juvenile detention center, and yeah, let's just say the mod creator was definitely accurate to how strong he was in the anime. I ran from him because yeah, I wanted none of that, and found a zombie with a bunch of smoke coming off it. I killed it and got Sukuna's finger. I ate it and got a bunch of achievements and a new ability which let me transform into Sukuna, which gave me a bunch of health and more abilities. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything to test my new powers out on for the rest of the day, but don't you worry, there's gonna be plenty of opportunities for that. On day 2, I found Todo, who has just a legendary model. I later found out that he's not really finished in terms of his powers, but hey, that design is more than enough for me. I later found Cursed Spirit 4, and along with Iori, finished him off, and got some more of this fame stuff that you get when killing cursed spirits or users. To this day, I have no clue what it's for, so please tell me in the comments if you know. Later, I went mining for diamonds since, as I said, my armor was about as good as iron, so diamond was going to be a lot more useful. And I did find a good bit, then found a zombie spawner, but right when I was going to break it, I was ambushed by Mahito. I won't lie, I was scared for my life, so I ran as fast as I could. But eventually, I realized I had no choice but to stand and fight, so I transformed into Sukuna, and started alternating between my ranged abilities and just smacking him in the face. But I soon realized I had an ability called Fire, so I used it, and my god is it OP. And from there, I got more confident and used that confidence to smack him some more until I'd killed him. But then again, I was ambushed by Cursed Spirit 5, but he was light work for me in this form. I picked up Mahito's cursed abilities and tried to use them, but they didn't work, which I later found out was because you have to use them on living things. Yeah, I mean, what did you really expect with this guy? Later I surfaced and went hunting for more of Sukuna's fingers and got to 9 by the end of the night. On day 3, another Mahito attacked me, so again I transformed into Sukuna, and used my usual abilities on him, but then discovered there was another one that cost 800 points to use, and it was a domain expansion move. Now as I said, I didn't read the manga, so I had no idea what this was, but let's just say its power did not disappoint. It shred the health of anything within like a 30 block radius of it, and it makes it really hard to escape too. So all I really had to do was stand there and let it do its magic. Mahito tried to use his own domain expansion at the end, but it was too late and mine killed him before he could do it. I later went to get some more food and found a village, which I decided to live in, cause why not? And I finally figured out how to use Mahito's abilities, and yeah, it ain't pretty. So I vowed never to use that godforsaken ability ever again. Later I found this dude, the elder brother of the two guys in the finale, and since they were pretty damn strong themselves, I was cautious when fighting him, and kept the long range for the most part, and eventually that worked out just well for me, and I killed him. I grabbed his ability, and it said it was a work in progress, so I just put it away for the time being. But a more pressing issue was at hand. I found myself a Goto. God, I love this guy, so I tried my best to get a screenshot with him, which he wasn't too thrilled about, but I got a decent one in the end. After that, I saw Sukuna, and as you might expect, had a panic attack and ran the hell away from there. Later, I punched the Cursed Spirit, and for some reason got the Black Flash achievement from it. Yeah, don't ask me why, I'm just as confused as you. After that I found Jogo, amazing design by the way, and he went sicko mode on me, which indicated that I could not mess around, so I transformed into Sukuna right away and used my domain expansion on him. which as you probably expect finished him off pretty quickly. I then checked out what he dropped and yeah. God, I love this mod. Later, I once again went hunting for more fingers. That was a weird sentence to say, and by the end of it, had 15 total. On day 4, I went mining because I had nothing better to do while waiting for the night and found myself enough diamonds for a helmet and boots, and at night I went hunting for more fingers and got to 19, before finding Hanami as the sun rose. You know the drill by now, strong curse equals domain expansion, and he too didn't really stand a chance against it. Oh, and I also killed this dude in the process and got his sword, which good lord is overpowered. So I decided to use it as my main melee weapon. Later I went mining for obsidian, then surfaced when it turned to nighttime, where I found this dude that shoots out sharks, which you can't deny is pretty awesome. Anyway, I killed him, then killed another one of those mobs with the smoke around them to get the final Sukuna finger. I then found this guy and killed him with my domain expansion, but just as I did, another one spawned and my Sukuna transformation ran out, so he did a huge amount of damage to me. I tried to run, but I ran straight into Sukuna, and yeah. Much like the Demon Slayer mod, there's a reason I'm not on hardcore. But there was a silver lining. You know how I said earlier that I was gonna use other abilities? Well, this is how you get them. You get to choose a new one after each death, and I of course went with what I normally would have if I wasn't recording this video, Goto. Oh yeah, and the best part is that you can still use your old skills along with the new ones, so I didn't have to give up my Sukuna form or anything else I had before. I tested out Goto's abilities and yeah, it's pretty much what you'd expect. And his domain expansion is really cool too. This was when I realized I had another Sukuna finger, and I wondered what would happen if I ate it after already reaching max level. And yeah, nothing good happened. Again, blessing in disguise because this time I got Megumi's abilities, which basically amounted to me being able to spawn in a bunch of best buddies which I had to defeat to tame. This ranged from the frog to Nue to this dude. Holy, I'd never seen him before, but I needed one in my life. He's so cool looking. So I quickly tamed one and spawned in another one properly, and yeah, he followed me around. And with that, I had a new best buddy. I then tested out his abilities by having him fight this dude and he demolished him. Okay, maybe he was a little close, but I'm biased, alright? I then had him fight another curse, and by then my confidence and curiosity were at their peak, so I thought I'd try to fight Goto with him. Very stupid, I know, but not for the reasons you think, at least not just the reasons you think, but because it crashed me. I guess it's just impossible to have a fight that legendary. On day 7 to 9, I went mining again, while my best buddy acted as my bodyguard, and got full diamond, plus some obsidian, which I used to make an enchantment table. I looked around for a good building to place the table in, and decided on this church. I just got some basic enchants on my armor and sword, just so I wouldn't die as easily, you know, which is preferable. I then thought I'd use the top of the church as a trophy room thing, and you already know what my first trophy was. And yeah, I think we've peaked, we're not gonna get a better one than that. And then finally, I got myself an anvil and named my best buddy, well, my best buddy, with an obligatory ooh at the end, you know how it is. On day 10 corrupted. Sorry about that. I would tell you what happened, but the file corrupted, so I can't check. Plus, I have a horrible memory, so yeah. On day 11, which miraculously didn't corrupt, I made a nether portal, but realized in typical Brevis fashion that I didn't have any flint on me. And while I went to get some, I ran into this dude who had, well, 420 health, which seemed like a lot to me, so I used my domain expansion on him, but my best buddy got caught up in it. What kind of cruel power sucks your own buddies into it? Damn this world. I made a memorial to my best buddy and spawned in a new one, although he would never be the same as the first. I spent the next few days mining cores to get levels so that I could enchant, and I started with a brand new pickaxe, since up until this point I'd gone through a couple while mining and I wanted a pickaxe with unbreaking so that would happen less. On day 14 I went back to the nether and didn't even get a second to breathe before I was jumped by this dude, the one that killed me. So needless to say I was very cautious while fighting him, just letting him burn in lava while my domain expansion did the rest. Later I found Sukuna and thought I'd try fighting him with a similar strat. He jumped into lava, so I took the chance to use my domain expansion on him, but he countered with his own, which did damage to me a hell of a lot faster than mine did to him, so I had to retreat. After that, my best buddy jumped in to fight him, but after a valiant effort, he too fell in battle, which was my cue to get right out of there. I had a lot more preparation to do if I was gonna have a prayer against Sukuna, so I spent the next few days getting blaze rods and trying to get ender pearls but failing, so that I could fight the ender dragon first. On day 17, I enchanted a bunch of swords trying to get a looting one to more easily get ender pearls and wither skulls. But what ended up getting looting was this weapon from the mod, and it was only looting one, but that's pretty good. It pretty much guarantees an ender pearl drop every time instead of the normal 50-50 rate. And I used it to farm for those pearls and wither skulls all the way till day 24, when I'd amassed 2 skulls and 15 pearls total. So on day 25, I went looking for the stronghold and found it pretty quickly compared to usual. and found a library straight away, which was going to be very useful since I could use the books to finally get a level 30 enchantment table. And I also got a protection 3 and a sharpness 3 book from it as well, which was obviously going to help me out a ton too. On day 26, I found the end portal and entered it. There were more spirits in the end than Endermen, which was really annoying to deal with, but they didn't really pose an actual threat to me. I used Goto's hollow purple to get rid of the end crystals one by one, and yeah, it was overkill, but I was having a good time with it, alright? And isn't that what really counts? Anyway, when I did eventually get rid of them all, the dragon perched and I tried out my 22 attack damage sword on it. And yeah, after just 2 hits, it noped right out of there. The next time it perched, I tried to get one of my buddies to fight him, so I had to hit it, but for some reason I did just an illegal amount of damage to him with 1 punch. And this understandably annoyed him, so he launched me like 100 blocks into the air. But of course, I'm a professional crafter, so I easily landed the water bucket. After that, I tried to finish him off with my domain expansion, but that unfortunately went nowhere. So I had to do it the old-fashioned way. Well, if you can call the 22 attack damage sword old-fashioned anyway. Anyway, I tried to get all the XP, but only got about half since I was so quick that I accidentally jumped into the portal. I didn't really need all of it anyway, it's fine. I got home and repaired my armor, then made a level 30 enchantment table. And after a lot of enchanting, here's the insane armor set I ended up with. On day 28 to 29, I went back to the Nether to farm for the last Wither Skull and got it. Then I went back to the overworld and spawned in the Wither. I activated my domain expansion and the Wither didn't last too long after that. I didn't know it was gonna be that easy, but I guess I'll take it. There's another thing checked off the list, and of course the last thing on that list was to finally defeat Sukuna. So on day 30, that's just what I did. Another one of my best buddies, I've lost count at this point, started attacking him while I watched for a while. Until he activated his domain expansion, which was a sign I had to get serious, so I ran out of his range, and when it stopped, I rushed back in. And used Goto's hollow purple, then my fire ability, which Sukuna fired right back at me. I then activated my own domain expansion while shooting more fire at him, but I ran out of points, so I had to go in with my sword. Then when my points recharged, I finished him off with one more fire blast. Well, that was stressful, but in the end, just a bit of caution and some very OP armor was all I needed. Now at this point, I was curious as to how many best buddies I would need to kill Sukuna. Might seem cruel to put my friends through that, but don't lie, you're curious too. So I spawned in Sukuna again, along with all the animals I could, and the battle started. He killed off all the animals almost instantly, and my buddy didn't last much longer, but he did do a decent chunk of damage to Sukuna. So I ran away to build my points up again and decided to only use my best buddy from then on and see how many it would take. Basically what kept happening is that he would do a bunch of damage to Sukuna, but when Sukuna used his domain expansion, he would die in less than a minute. So with this process repeating over and over again, in total it took 5 of them to finally defeat him. And so I named the last one Bestest Buddy Uwu for being able to do it. Good job. Even though it was mostly luck, but still. Alright, this is where we'll end off. I know, it's only day 31, but really, this mod has only had 4 updates and still has a long way to go. But I thought it was still worth making a video on it. If you'd rather I'd mine and build stuff until day 100, you're entitled to your opinion, but that would be boring as hell in my opinion. So I prefer to end it here on a high note instead. But again, for all you 100 days purists, let's just say I spent day 32 to day 100 making a beautiful 100-story tall statue of my best buddy, alright? Alright.